Welcome to London's Craziest Gangster with me, Mr. Fish, the channel where the blind can see and those who can see are blind, whose motto is, if angels fly and devils die, how come I'm still alive? Right, today's show, today, we're going to talk about YouTubers, yeah, putting subscribers, views and money before their health and family. Okay. Why is it people always take respect and silence for a weakness? Why? Why is it people always want to get hurt before they're happy? Why? Why is it people always want to push you to hurt them? Yeah, their families, their friends, and everything they've ever loved, heard, and touched. Why? Okay. Why is it people can't see what's in front of them? You see, I don't disrespect people. All I want to do is make everybody happy, okay? To love their lives and to be successful in their lives. You know, for me, YouTube isn't about subscribers, views and money. It's not. That's what I'm about. YouTube is about me sharing my experience with you, hoping people can learn from my experiences, hoping you can learn from the people I interview and their experiences, and me learning from you and you learning from me. That's what we're all about. I'm not into, putting things on Instagram and disrespecting people, getting people on podcasts. Listen, mate, when I have an issue, I'm not into that, yeah? Everybody knows the fish. If I've got a problem, yeah, I deal with the problem, yeah? Regardless of cost or consequences, okay? I don't scream, I don't shout. You know, when the police are coming, they don't tell you, do they? When the Secret Service are coming, they don't tell you, do they? When the armed forces are coming, they don't tell you either, do they? Yeah. And I might lose. I've had it before, and someone said, you know what, Fish, if you come, you will lose. But I said to him, I might lose, but I'm still coming. Yeah? And people, people need to stick with reality. Stop mixing YouTube up with fantasy. They've got to, or people doing YouTube have forgotten where they've come from. And so now they're doing any willy-nilly to make money, to get subscribers. I'm not on that bus, okay? And I'm saying, look, if I have a problem, I deal with it. Everyone knows the fish. I have a problem, I deal with it. Regardless of cost or consequence, I'm coming, okay? I deal with it and we get it resolved. And when it's resolved and everyone's happy, I'm happy. But when people keep pushing and pushing and pushing, I have to ask, well, what is it you want? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you after me to hurt you? Do you want me? What do you want? It's done. You have to understand the capabilities of the person that you keep going against. Yeah. Okay. I'm not a pimp. I don't sell drugs. I don't do fraud. I look after people. I keep people safe. And I'm good at what I do, and I don't like hurting innocent people, only those that trouble us. So when people take my respect and silence for a week, then I have to ask the question, why? What is it? Are they not in the real world? They're not obviously in the same level of the game as I am. And people need to, people need to understand, like, not everyone does things their way, Anyway, now we got that out of the way, Crash, as your father. I've got the pad today because I need to try and work out one. So we're going to talk about prison and IPP. So, as most of you know, I was the great tranny robber. And the Great Tyranny robbery came about because, as I said, in the old days, people used to come to us and ask us if we want to do a job, and we did everything. That's the game. True villains, right, do everything. They don't just do one thing. Just yeah. Some people are the masters of their trade, and they do stick to one trade. But some of us are lucky enough to be able to go across the board. And one day, a fella came to me and said, "Look, I got this job." And so I said, "Okay, cool. Let's go and have a look at it." And so I went and had a look. But when I went and had a look at this job, I thought, we have to do this with a little bit of tact. We need to go in the building and make the staff think that, you're an absolute idiot. And so I had to get a great big pink, cut like this, big guns to hat, gold chain, a pair of skimpy shorts. And I went to the building concern. And there was £200,000 in the vault. And as I went in, before I went in, as I'm going down the road, everybody's laughing at me, which is exactly what I wanted. They're pissed about, have a look at him, have a look at him, have a look at him. So, crash as your father, I get to the building concerned, and the security turn around and look at the reception and go, have a look at him, and they're laughing, which was exactly what I wanted them to do. So, crash as your father. I'm now looking at the logistics, at the job, the cameras, the staff, the area, what we got to do, the challenges, And crash out your father. I thought, well, you're laughing now. Let's see if you're laughing in 2 weeks. So anyway, I've gone home and crash. I realised I had a problem, and I realised the problem was, I had to get about, what shall we say, 30 yards. But in the middle between me, the front door, and the wages office was a reception desk, 2 secretaries and 2 security. And they're there every single day. So the problem I had was, this job, we were supposed to go in free-handed, okay? But the problem was, how were we supposed to get past these people without them saying, "Who are you?" They're there every day. They know every single person that comes in and out of that building. And so I went home and I started asking some of the old school, the older members of the villainy, and the younger members, because young members still, they have creativity and brains. They watch a lot of social media. So I'm asking everybody, look, how can I get from here to there? How can I get from here to there? And no one said, I don't know. Everyone said, I don't know fish, I don't know fish. And I was like, man, this is too much. And for me, villainy isn't just going out there and doing something. Yeah? For me, villainy is having a bit of creativity. Yeah. You have to respect the police services, the armed forces. You have to respect those people, because those people, regardless of how you feel about those organisations, those people keep us safe, whether you like it or not. That's the that is it. Those organisations keep us safe. I can only sit here and do this due to those organisations. It's as simple as that. Okay? So you have to respect those organisations. Secondly, you have to understand, I know people have had bad interaction with the police, and I know there have been injustices made by the police. And I know the police sometimes misrepresent your actions and misrepresent your misinterpret your words, and you can go to prison for a long time. I understand all that. But I also understand that we need them, and that they keep us safe, and they lay down their life for you to be safe, your kids to be safe, and and your property. So you have to respect them, because they have been doing this game since John Peel days. I don't know how long the Secret Service have been out, but the armed forces have been doing it as well. And so you have to respect it. Also, what I love about our gamers, yeah, I do apologise to you. Also, what I love about our policers, whether you like them or not, even with all their mistakes and injustices, they are still, well, I wouldn't, now I'll tell you the truth, but they're still the best police force in the world. You have to understand that and respect that. Yeah? You know, these people, you know, sometimes they can find a murderer. And that takes a lot of work, that takes a lot of intelligence, a lot of groundwork, a lot of paperwork, a lot of investigation, footwork. You know, burglaries. They track down a burglar by finger. Listen, we have one of the best police forces in the world. It might not be the greatest in the sense of they don't make mistakes. You know, they have been injustice, but it's still, when you commit a crime in this country, you know, believe me, to get away with it, you have to be good. You do have, especially if it's a serious crime, you have to be very, very good. And so you have to respect them, understand them, and learn about them, because they're the people you're competing against when you get into the game. Okay? And so this means you have to be creative. You know, when something comes to me, I don't just go, oh yeah, let's just jump at it and go in. No. Come on, let's keep it sublime. Yeah? You need thought, creativity, mind. You're taking on forensics, you're taking on CCTV, you're taking on the public, you're taking on phones, you're taking on everything. You've got to be, come on, creativity. You have to fit in. And so this job, it presented a massive problem for me. And so I went home and I got all books, MI5, CIA, Winston Churchill, army books. And I read them because these are the people who have led the way for years and years. And you need to learn from them. Whenever I see people watching films and quoting things from film, and learning from gangster movies or villain movies, I look at them and I go, mate, you learn from them and you will go to prison. You have to learn from those in control, the masters, the dons, regardless of their mistakes and injustice, because we all make mistakes, and I'm sure at some point we've all done an injustice. It's not an issue. And so I sat down and I'm going through my books. I'm going through the CIA, come on, help me, and I'm saying to them, help me, and CIA, nothing there. I put that down, picked up MI5 and said, and I was looking for if one of them could tell me about a mission they'd been on, and maybe I could get an idea how to conquer the problem that I had. And so I got to Winston Churchill, sort of, he in his war days had done anything, and God, there was nothing there. You know, what was it called? War. Anyway, don't worry. There's enough. But anyway, what happened was, what happened was, someone had given me a book in Wormwood Scrubs by Andy McNabb, who writes for the SAS, and I had never read it. You know, I just put it there and it was there. And so I picked up this book. I thought, come on, let's give it a try. And Crash, how's your father? Oh, this is class. This is some blah. You know. I open the page and it says women of valour. Women of valour. I'm like, you don't see women in the SAS. Well, you don't, do you? You never, ever, ever see women in the SAS. On film, you don't hear about them in books. You don't hear on radio or any broadcasting, so you never see women. And so this made me really, really interested. I thought, I've got to read this. This is class. And you know what it said? Only where a man could not go with the right identification papers go, could a woman go, and the Germans wouldn't give a second glance. Gangster. Absolute class. Problem resolved. So crash how's your father? What I've done, so I apologise to you, dehydrating. Training today. So crash how's your father? That's it. That was the answer to the problem. Class. And so I rang those that were the team that I was going to put together to do the job. And they all thought we was going free-handed and everything, so we were planning for that. And when I told them we're going as women, when I told them we're going as women, they looked at me as if I was absolutely off my nut. I thought I was a loon. So did I. So did I. But anyway, you know, you've got to have creativity. Another thing you have to have in this game, you have to have balls. You know? There's no point having brains with no balls, or there's no point having balls with no brains. You have to have both, okay? And to pull this off, I knew we were going to have to use nerves of steel. Okay, because this, you know, you've got to get it right. You've got to get the woman right. You've got to get the walking right, the clothes right, you know. So anyway, I called the boys together, and then I called some women together. And I said, look, girls, I don't know nothing about dressing up as a woman, but can you dress me up? So the girl said, yeah, no problem, yeah, gangster. And so they got the wig out, and they got the silicone implants. Listen, we done it properly. Okay, brought a dress from Primark. And I'll tell you what, ladies, a size 8 shoe is hard work in a woman's size, isn't it? I didn't realise. It's hard work. And I know the papers said gunman trips over high heels and drops his gun, but I actually had flat shoes on. I was ready for the race. So anyway, the boys now think I'm mad, but they could see me now dressing up as this one, so now know I'm serious. And then we've had to make an ID card up, so I've nicked my old man's ID holder and got a picture and put it in and made an ID up. Now, the next issue we had was, you know, because of CCTV, it's very difficult now to go somewhere and come back somewhere without being seen, and it's very, very hard. So, you know, especially if you get caught, we have to be prepared for the interview and everything. So what I had to do was, I had to get a car in the road to take me there. And I had to make sure that everybody else came after. So the plan was, the office in question was in High Street Kensington. And for those of you who don't know High Street Kensington is in the richest borough in the country, which is actually where I live now. And High Street Kensington, it's surrounded by, I think it's Earls Court Police Station, Notting Hill Police Station, and they also have the Diplomatic Police Station in the corner. So I knew this job, and that's why that was one of the reasons I took the job on, because I knew it was in the middle of 3 police stations. I knew it was such a super risk. I knew, if we could pull this off, it would be a blinder. But it would be absolute class. And that was why I loved the challenge. It was never about money for me. It was always about taking on the challenge. The DNA, the CCTV, the forensics, the police, the intelligence. And so, what I knew, because of that situation, what I had to plan how we were going to do this in a way where, when the call was made and all these services approached the scene, I had to make it look as if we had disappeared. And so the best way I had to do it was, the best way I thought, bearing in mind, over once if the police helicopter comes up. So I knew that once the call goes out, being in Kensington, Chelsea, I knew that helicopter's going to come up. Okay. And so I had to do it in a way where we would disappear. So when they're looking for the bike's disappeared. And also, they're going to be looking for a black person, a black woman, so I had to make her disappear as well. And so the way I achieved this was, I had another black guy ride the getaway bike, but I told him to come after me, because of CCTV and cameras. If he came at the same time, if anything did go wrong, as it did, then they would know this was a team job and being well organised, and that would up the stakes. Well, up the stakes anyway. But so I had to then understanding that when the police come, the armed police, they come on motorbikes, they come on in SUVs, don't they? The Audi Jeeps, the BMW X5s. So I had to take all this into consideration, and being a very rich area, they're very well protected, so they'll be there fast. And so I had to get 2 getaway cars with white drivers, so the black guys could get into the back and cover them with boxes. And so when they're coming in and looking for groups, because that's what they do when they come in, they're looking for teams and groups. So when they're coming in, they just see one and ignore it. And then I had 2 white guys to put the bike in the van, and that was a very important part, so that when the copper came up, the bike has disappeared. And so I had everything really planned, really done, planned properly. It all worked out, and we were good to go. And so, on the day in question, we got a cab, and I got there, and I went in, and as I went in, I had a password, and so I got past security. I said, "Good afternoon to you," and "Hi." And so I got in, but as I got in, and I was just getting in, so you get in from the office, and then you have to go to another door to get into the wages department. And as I got to the wages department door, one of the employees came out, and so he said to me, he looked back into the wages office and said to me, "Is he staff?" And the manager, well, actually, he shut the door and said, "Oh, do you work here?" And I said, "Oh, you're staff?" And I punched in the code to go into the radio. I went, "Oh, you are staff?" He quite surprised by my appearance, I suppose. But he looked back and he said to the manager, "Do you know her?" And the manager said, "No." Now, it was at that point I had to make a decision. Yeah. And I heard a woman on the phone, and I was at that point, sorry, I apologise. At that point, I had to make it, are we going or not? So I pulled the gun and I put it to, and I said, right, in the wages office. But as I did this, I heard a woman on the phone say, we're being raided, we're being raided. So in that moment, I had to make a split decision. Yeah. Am I staying and continue with the job, or am I going? You're in, you're here, a minute and a half before the police come, let's do it. And so I said, right, that's it, where's the money? Now, the manager, fair play to him, he obviously thought I was a lunatic and didn't have a clue what was going on. And so he ran at me with £400 coins. And I was like, mate, don't take the piss. So I crashed that one. I said, listen, open the vault before I blow his effing nuts off. And so they now, I think, but they now realised I actually knew what was in the vault. And so he took me to the vault and he filled up the laundry bag, 194 grand, I think. And so, you know, I felt, and I was going out. As I went out, remember I told you the woman on the phone had said I'm being raided. As I went out into the foyer where I told you earlier that the security and the reception had their desk, there was about 300 people. All the employees were just down there looking at the door. And so I came and went, hi! What else could you do? Do you know what I mean? And they all looked at me. Is him? So I've run out. And as I've run out, my getaway driver, he's standing up on the bike, but he looks frozen. And so I stopped. Now, the problem with the getaway driver was, normally, you know, when you're an overseer, you normally check everything, and bad mistake. So, because he said he could produce the wheels, the bike, and then I thought, okay, I trusted him to make sure it was in working order, be maintained, everything. He knew what he was doing, you know. So crash, I came out and he was frozen, and I was like, what's wrong? But because of the CCTV, I never ran straight to him because, you know, just in case he couldn't run or he couldn't get there, I didn't want them to know he was with me. I do apologise. So crash out as your father. I look to the left and there's two policemen, but they're walking. So I look at this kid again and I have to make a split decision. You know, you've heard me say it many times before, it's called damage limitation. Now, as I said to you many times before, we never, ever point guns at police. And I hope all you people are listening to me and learning, okay, especially the youngest. No matter what you think of police or how, or what interaction you've had with them, you've got to understand, just because you may dislike them or hate them or mistrust them, if your kid goes missing, who are you going to call? If your family member gets old and gets dementia or Alzheimer's and goes missing, who are you going to call? If your parents or kids' property or is in trouble or being raided or burgled, who are you going to call? And so you have to understand, the police, it's their job to catch criminals. That's the game. Cops, robbers, game. Okay? And so, just because you are about to get caught doesn't mean that you've got to take a policeman or policewoman's life. They too have families. It's a job. It's a job where they put their lives, those on the front line, on the line, so you, me, and everybody else, your kids, can all walk freely and safely about the streets at night and in the day. But that's it. So why would you want to stab, shoot, or hurt someone doing that? And even if you're a criminal, and this is the bit what people really need to remember, because they seem to forget it. You might moan about the police because you're in the game of villain or criminal enemy, but you gotta understand, if you ring them, they're not turning around saying you're criminal. They're coming. They're coming. So, you know, for you to hurt them, yeah, for me personally, you're taking the pay. You know, you deserve what you get, because at the end of the day, you know, you need them. And so I looked at them there, looked at him. You know, I could have pulled the gun on them. I could have put them on the ground. But once you do that, you're upping the stakes in sentencing. And that's another thing when damage limit. While you're doing bits of what, you have to understand that what you do can either raise or lower the sentence. Okay? So you have to have brains in the game. You can't just be in the game and no intelligence. You know, you got brains. And so I looked at them, looked at him. Now, this kid I hadn't really worked with before. And I wasn't sure whether he was staunch enough or strong enough to not to buckle under interrogation. Yeah. Now, you put the police on the floor, you're starting at maybe, 10 with a gun, 10, 12, 15, yeah, especially if you've got a record like myself, then you're up in the stakes even more. And for somebody who's not really in the game, and because it was the first time I'd used this gun, and the reason was because my normal guy here, the police had shot one of my pals, and he managed to survive and get away from them, and he was hiding on a boat on the Thames, and my normal rider was on that boat as well, and so I used this guy. He was a young guy, and I like using young guys. As I said earlier, I hate using men or women who have got families, because I think the worst thing you can do is go on a job, get a big prison, and lose your family, you know. And so I hate using guys with families. So anyway, I looked at this kid, I looked at them, and I thought, okay, damage limitation. Let me run towards them. I'm fit, I'm healthy, I don't have a tear, and get past him, and hopefully he can start the bike and pick me up. So anyway, crash, I've gone past them, stashed the gun, stashed the money, both the same bag, and I'm hiding, and I'm waiting for this guy. I'm waiting for this bike. But he never came. And then someone pointed me out. So as the police came, I was like, I had to push them out of the way. But as I crossed the road, I got hit by a black cat. And it didn't even stop. Do you know what I mean? A black cow didn't even stop. That's how it was in them days. Most probably weren't licensed. Crash. So crash, how's your fault? I get up and I'm running. Yeah. But as I'm running, the police are now running after me. The guns are coming on the scene. The motorbikes all right. The fact they're all there now. They're screaming, stop him, stop him. And I'm going. But there were 5 police builders or whatever. I couldn't tell it. And, you know, they heard the stop and they jumped me, and there was 2 men. I could fight, but by that time the police all came on top of me, and that was it. So anyway, I'm lying in the road. Remember, I told you I stashed the gun and the money in a crash, yeah. So I'm in the road now. they took the dress off because they're looking for the gun. They've got all the MP5s on me. They're stamping on my leg. Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Okay. So anyway, they found the money and the guys. They sealed the whole area off. So anyway, so I'm in this silicone bra, got these stockings on, and the ambulance comes because I've been hit by the cab, and I do apologise. And so, they handcuffed me to the trolley, that goes into the ambulance. So I'm going to the ambulance, please car in front, please car behind. And I get to the hospital and they take me out of the ambulance, but they go through the front. Oh, sorry, I have to laugh. They go through the front door, so I'm handcuffed to this thing and this bra and these stockings, 4 MP5s wrapped around me. Everyone looked at me, I'm pissing myself laughing, I'm on the floor, it can only happen to you. And so, this hospital staff, thank you very much, sorting me out. And then I had to go to the police station, but I thought I was going to go to Abbott Grove. But they took me to Hammersmith. So they took me to Hammersmith police station, I was in there. And they, interviewed me, and they said, look, who was the getaway driver, who was that? And I said, no, I went on my own. I said, look, I did everything on my own, everything. And they said, look, come on, we know you. I said, look, I've done everything on my own. I said, come on, mate, you've got me, you've got the dress, got the shoes, So crash, I said, come on, that's enough, I've held my hands up, you've got the gun. I said, that's it, help me. So anyway, they went, all right, sweet. And after the interview, they then put that up. And the funny thing about that is, they in that thing, they said, oh, passers-by said he looked like a right mug. And I think they put it in, they thought they were going to hurt me,